Hi, and welcome back to Supernatural-Diehard Reviews. Today, a Most Holy Man. It's quite a weird one for me to review because Malta played a part in today's episode and I am Maltese. I'm not gonna lie, they didn't describe us well at all. They quickly associated us with Italians, but given we're not Italians, we're different countries completely, but I digress. That's not very important. It didn't affect me too much, especially given the style of the episode. I found it really cool and entertaining that part of it was focused on Malta. It was a very different episode. It reminded me of Time After Time in season 7 and Ask Jeeves in season 10. They had a very whodunit noir kind of vibe, and it was different than the other Supernatural episodes. That was it by a long shot. Let's go into the review. The first thing that struck out to me was the brothers and the dynamic. It was certainly a comedy episode, so you go into it, filler, story-driven comedy, different sections, quite weird. But even the idea of the episode, it was western, it was gangsters, it was Godfather, noir, it was comedy. There are many different elements. You had the shootout at the end to the praying priest, and we'll go into everything basically, but I enjoyed the episode. I think it was a very entertaining episode for what it was. I think the episode had a number of memorable moments. Something that is on my mind at the moment is basically when Sam addressed the query to Dean. He asked him, what would you do if someone had to take her Impala? And I just found that hilarious. You know, his reaction and then how locked in his mind he got at the thought that someone stealing the Impala. It was classic Dean. Anyway, so let's go into the episode. The main part would certainly be the end.
I have faith.
When they finally got the blood, which as we spoke about yesterday, the blood is one of the ingredients to open the rift to get Jack and Mary out of the alternate apocalyptic universe. So, very interesting way of getting the blood. I've read some reviews already and people claimed that was predictable. It might have been predictable, it was predictable, but it didn't break story. It wasn't just there for the plot. Because something like this, potent relic to Malta, if it had to get stolen, the Vatican would have gotten involved, especially if it was the skull of the same. They would have sent one of their tops. Now obviously they have sent a number of investigators, but they probably would have sent a priest or something of the sort, just someone who understands the clientele. Someone with that high positioning would and might be labeled as a most holy man. Now obviously we're not saying this man was the most holy man to ever live or in existence, but he was labeled as this and he had that kind of blood. So basically it's like when someone will knight you, you become that person. So I don't find it too hard to believe that this person could have been a most holy man. He was sent from Malta, from the Vatican, to retrieve or to help in retrieving this item, this special item. So he certainly was one of the high ones inside the Vatican hierarchy. So I found it cheesy, I found it predictable, but again it all played a part in the episode, and it would have been a bit weird if after the entire episode, after all this confusion, they didn't get the blood. So it had to end on that note, and it ended on it ended on the note it had to end, I feel. So I found it fine to end like that. Something else that a lot of people spoke about, and I spoke about this before on the Facebook page. Sam getting knocked out again. Again, for the kind of episode it was, focusing on gangsters and mob bosses and the noir genre, getting knocked out was something that I feel had to happen because it's quite a common trope. And at least the writers, the showrunners, realize that it's something that always happens and you're actually bringing a story arc out of it. Can it be? Dean questioned it and queried it, and I don't know, I felt that there was more to come. I feel that the idea of Sam getting all these concussions maybe might be affecting his mood. That is why he's on the mental decline. I don't know, it's a theory, but I love that they mentioned it, and the only way that you could mention it would be for Sam to get knocked out again. So I'm fine with it. Also, the way that Dean went and was like, Sammy, wake up, are you okay? Sweet, heartfelt moment, how in that moment of despair he calls the brother Sammy. And they focused a lot on that scene. They remained, Sam didn't just wake up, or he didn't struggle up. There was a story behind it, and I do think it can be carried out. Why did he stay so long on the ground? Why did they focus so much on the scene? Talking about focusing on the scene in general, Amanda tapping. This might be my favorite episode of her yet, the one that obviously directing. As I mentioned previously, she directed 2 episodes, they were fantastic, but I felt that she had so much to do in this episode. It was not easy to keep track, and I felt that she did it well. So, all in all, the directing was good, the acting was as usual superb, the writing was confusing at moments, it was maybe a bit slow at moments, but again, given the style of episode, I don't mind it as a one-off. So something like Stuck in the Middle with You, last season, it was a Tarantino-based episode. Same thing here. I think Stuck in the Middle with You was done better, but I think that's just preference. This episode, as I mentioned before, reminds me of Oz Jeeves, Time After Time, and The Red Sky at Morning. It also had a Casablanca feel and The Maltese Falcon. It's a very old movie. I feel that the episode was based on those 2 movies and had some noir films throughout. Some aspects to the noir films throughout. I hope you like my Jocelyn Bellow mug. Don't know if you can see it clearly. There is God on my mug. Anyway. I think now we're at the point in the review where I can give my rating. It is a bit of a low rating in comparison to my previous episodes because I felt that those just had a grander stage and felt better, and I was at the edge of my seats in previous episodes. In this, I was more laid back, just enjoying the episodes, taking it all in. At times getting confused. Probably that's because of my low attention span, I don't know. Basically, I will give this episode a 7 out of 10. Which is still quite a high mark. I'm still loving season 13. I'm glad that, not glad, but they did this kind of episode well and good. It's over, let's not go here again because it would be repetition. The next episode is Supernatural. I've watched the promo, we'll be posting it shortly. Great episode. I imagine it's gonna be a great episode, but I'm just really hyped for it, to be honest. And we'll see where it takes us. Let me see if there's anything else I have to say. Don't think so. Thank you for being here. Again, this was my first review being done like this, so everything is haphazard, but we'll see where it takes us. Thank you, this was my opinion. If you want a more detailed, slower opinion and review, go on my Facebook page. I will be writing it out shortly. and have a great day.